Hello and good morning. This is the Breville Barista Express that I'm selling, model BES870 in brushed stainless steel. As you saw in the photos, the machine is used, so it has a few scratches and minor wear and tear. I would say standard wear and tear actually. So scratches on the front and nicks and dents, a few scratches here. I did try my best to give it a good clean, so it arrives to you in good condition. More importantly, this machine works like new. I've just finished doing a full service on it, so changing 7 of the internal seals on the boiler and the pipes and the pump, refurbishing the solenoid valve with a new connector and new seals, and pressure testing everything, doing the cleaning cycle. So now it should basically work like new for years and years. Yeah, in this video I'll be demonstrating that it works fully. So I'll be making my morning coffee. So testing the grinder, the brewing, the steamer, and also testing the hot water tap for you as well. When you turn on this machine, typically it takes about a minute to reach full temperature. When you see the buttons light up, that means it's ready to make a coffee. But if you want to make a hot cup of coffee, I recommend you warm it up. So you can warm it up in a couple of ways. First one is passively, so just waiting for 10 minutes. In 10 minutes time, everything will be nice and warm, like the top lid. You can put your cups here. The portafilter will be nice and warm in 10 minutes time. If you're in a hurry like me, I want to do the warm up quickly, so you can do that by running a blank shot. No coffee in the handle. Get your cup, put it underneath, press the double button, and that's going to give you hot water for to warm up the cup and the components as well. You can do that once or twice, it's up to you. We can try that again with the single button just to show you that it works and it stops on time as well. Sweet. Now, one of the reasons why this machine is cheaper than my other machines, firstly, it doesn't come with all the accessories, so it's only coming with what you see in the photos of the advertisement. Secondly, it was missing the tamper, so I actually 3D printed a tamper. So it's 2 colors, it's the same design, it's got the same features, and it also sticks to the magnet with this little screw. That's a custom design part. Yeah, the portafilter has a little bit of pitting on it, so typically it's nice and shiny. On this one it's not shiny, it's more rough, but it works like normal, it has no issues at all. So yeah, just because of the cosmetic things and also the fact that it doesn't come with all the accessories, this one is a bit cheaper, but trust me that this one is as healthy as any other machine you'll see out there. It's been calibrated, so I've cleaned the flow meter for the button lengths, I've calibrated the grinder, I've changed the internal calibration of the actual blade carrier on the motor, so it's grinding fine for espresso, and that's what matters. And I'm also including warranty with it for your peace of mind. Once you've done the warm-up procedure, let's do the grinding now. Grab a tissue or a towel and dry the portafilter, mainly dry the basket actually. So this is the double basket. It will take about 18 grams of coffee. I'm going to use my scale to dose that 18 grams, but you don't really need a scale. You can eyeball most of this, and I'll teach you how to do that in a second. You can do the grinding in a couple of ways. You can do the double quantity straight away. Personally, I like to do the single 2 times, and that is because when you do the single twice, it's less messy than doing the double quantity all at once. So it reduces the spillage of the coffee. The grind size, I'm going to use number 4. So the grind size is this controller dial here on the left. This will control how fine or how coarse the coffee grounds are. So fine being very small particles like flour, coarse being very large particles, almost like gravel, almost like sand or dirt. With a finer grind size, your shots, the espresso shots, will be slower. So they'll have more flavor, but they'll take more time. If you do a larger grind size, your shots will be quicker and more acidic. So you want to control the grind size so it's the perfect grind size. And the perfect grind size is, the number here is, it's going to vary from machine to machine. So I can't give you a magic number. Each machine has to be dialed in and set up as needed. The perfect grind size would be one that gives you a double shot in 30 seconds. So what's a double shot? A double shot is about 36 grams of coffee. That's liquid espresso, I mean. 36 grams in 30 seconds. If I do a grind size of 1, for example, it probably will be too fine. And we will probably get a shot that takes a minute or maybe 45 seconds. That's my assumption. That's too long. 45 seconds is too long for the double shot. If I do the grind size on 18, the shot will probably take 10 or 15 seconds. That's too quick. We don't want that. So we want the number, the perfect number that gives us our double shot in 30 seconds. If we get anything in the 25 to 35 second range, I'm happy. So let's give that a try. I've just changed the grind size, so I'm gonna do a bit of a purge. So I'm gonna grind for a couple of seconds, get rid of that as well. Okay, so about 3 seconds. This is grind size number 4. I'm gonna start grinding now. We'll put it on the 12 o'clock mark. This dial here controls how long the grinder will grind for. So I'll do it on 12 and see what we get. If we have everything right, it should give us 9 grams on the single, and we do that twice. That's 18 grams. This is an 18-gram basket. Add a bit more coffee. Okay, once I get my first dose, what I like to do is, I'll take this out, lightly press just to make space for the next dose, and then check. We have 8.5. That's pretty good. I'm going to leave it there. So if we get 17 grams, that's totally fine. Because if I put it on 1 o'clock, maybe we'll get more than 9. And I don't want that. So I'll leave it at the 9 o'clock mark. We'll do that again. Okay. Take that out. Make sure you don't make a mess on your counter space. Let's measure that. 17.1. That's alright. It doesn't have to be 18. A little bit less is fine. A little bit more is worse than a little bit less. So if you have too much coffee in the portafilter, it'll be difficult to lock it in. Whereas if you have a little bit less than what you wanted, it's just going to mean that the coffee is a tiny bit watery, than more watery than expected. But that's alright. Now, I've got 17 grams in the basket. Once I spread it around, it's nice and flat. It gives you an idea that I have roughly the correct amount of coffee. I spread it around with my finger and it's nice and flat. And then I grab my tamper and I press it nice and firm. And you'll see that this white part on my tamper disappears. So this depth is the depth of the coffee. The depth of the white part should be the depth of the coffee when you have the correct amount of coffee. So that's what Breville designed in their machines. And that's what I've also designed in my 3D print. This is about 6.5 millimeters, and that's the depth of the correct dose of coffee. This is what it looks like. So as long as you have the grind settings on an amount that gives you this much coffee, then you're doing the right thing. You don't have a scale. That's not a problem. Just ensure that the tamper goes this deep. If you still see some of the white part and you press the coffee down and it's still up here, the tamper is still up here, that's too much coffee. So you want to reduce the amount. If the tamper sinks very deeply into the basket, that's too little coffee, and you need to increase your coffee grind time. All right, put that back. Make sure the edges are nice and clean. Again, this is grind size number 4. We've got 17 grams. I'm gonna get rid of this hot water. Okay, now I'm gonna reset my scale. So now we'll measure the output. We did the input at 18. The output should be double that at 36 grams, and hopefully it should take 30 seconds to brew. If it's more than that, then we adjust the grinder. So if it's too quick, we slow it down by grinding finer. If it's too slow, we speed it up by grinding coarser and larger grind size. One more thing, the buttons are programmable. So these buttons, you can change them to whatever length you'd like. From factory, they're a bit too long, especially the double button that we want. It should be around 35 to 40 grams for a standard shot, but unfortunately, out of the factory, it gives us about 60. That's not a problem. I will reprogram that now. You can do that by pressing the program button and then pressing the button that you want to program, for example, the double button. And then I'm going to stop it when I'm happy with the volume. And you don't have to measure the outputs every day, every time. You can just eyeball it. And again, I'm going to eyeball it now. When I think it's about 40 grams, I'll stop it. The pressure gauge is a bit of a... It's helpful. It's a bit of a guide. If you have the pressure gauge around the 10 to 12 o'clock mark, then that's good. At the moment, it's running a bit low, around the 9 to 10 o'clock mark. I think that was 15 seconds. 15 seconds gave us this much. This is about 40 grams. Let's measure and double check. Okay, 45. That's more coffee than I wanted. To fix this issue, what I would do is I would grind 1 or 2 numbers finer. So it's at number 4 now. I would grind... You know what? I'm not going to waste this shot. I'm going to do another shot. So I'm going to put this in a different cup. I'm going to try again. Okay, not a problem. This is part of the process. Typically, it takes users a few days actually to get the settings right. In this video, hopefully we can get it by the second shot. Let's try that again at grind size number 2. So quickly clean up. Get rid of this, knocks off really cleanly. Give it a good flush. And make sure it's nice and dry. We'll do the same things as before. Measure the input. I'm gonna get rid of 3 seconds worth of grinding because I changed the grind size. So that's the grind size number 2 now. Great. I'm gonna put this at the 1 o'clock mark. It should be about 9 grams. That's our first dose. Take that out. Give it a good press. Quick press. Measure 9.1. Perfect. I'm going to do that again. I might 3D print later in the future. 3D print a tool that attaches to this and reduces the mess even more. But that's for another day. That is 17.8. Very happy at this setting. So grind size number 2, 1 o'clock mark on the grind amount, and the single, doing that twice gives us about 18 grams, which is perfect for this machine. Just like before, I'm going to spread around the coffee with my finger, then grab the temper, make sure I apply nice firm pressure all around. And again, just like before, the white part of my tamper disappears because we've got the correct amount of coffee now. Gonna make sure it's flat and not wonky to one side or the other. This is what it looks like again. Wipe the edges, lock it in, reset my scale. I'm gonna do the programming again just because that one was a bit too much coffee, more than I wanted. And we'll do that now. So program, then the button itself. And I'm going to time it as well on my scale. It's got a timer function. Hopefully the pressure should be higher. There we go. Oh, amazing. That's about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock pressure. Flows very, very nice and smooth. Much better than before. I can tell already that this is going to be a better shot. It's flowing more evenly. It's got more crema. And I'll stop it at the 32 second mark. We've got closer to 40 grams now, I can tell just by eye. So again, if you don't have a scale, just look at the depth. It should be about this much. I'll confirm with my scale. 43. Pretty happy with that. The other one was 48. So this is a bit closer to what we wanted, 40 grams. It's probably going to taste much better. I'll leave the settings there in case you wanted to tinker a little bit more. Now you know what method to use and what to look for. There's no point in me getting the perfect shot, a perfect 36 gram shot, because you'll probably be using different beans and different age of beans, and all these factors will affect what settings you need to use. But with that said, that's the espresso shot. Very happy with that. It could be closer to 40 grams or 38 or whatever. Coffee making is not a science experiment, so it does have to be perfect. You have to chase the flavor rather than chase the numbers. But the numbers will help you get close to what you want to get to. If you like to add sugar or flavors, I recommend you add them actually before the coffee is brewed, because that'll help it mix with the coffee. But in my case, because I did 2 coffees, it is sort of difficult to do that. You have a hot water tap here in case you wanted to convert this espresso shot into an Americano coffee. You can just turn that on, and it gives you clean hot water straight from the boiler. Alright. Do a quick clean. Oops. I like to do this before and after. So as you saw, to warm up, we do this step, and we do it after to flush the group head and the portafilter. If you want to be extra nice to your machine, grab a tissue or a clean cloth and wipe the group head seal. As you see, there's always a little bit left, even after you flush. There's a little bit left in the crevices and the nooks and crannies of the group head. So that's always helpful to do, I would say, if you want your machine to be happy and healthy. Next is steaming. So I've filled my milk jug with cold full cream cow's milk. So this is my personal milk jug. It's got a thermometer on it. Whatever your milk jug you use, make sure it's metal, and make sure it's got what do you call it? A nice spout. If it doesn't have a nice spout, it won't allow you to pour nice latte out if you want to do that. This is, I think, 250 mils of maybe 200 mils of milk. I've never weighed it, sorry. So turn on the steamer. It takes about 15 seconds for the steam to start coming out. So give it a few seconds, and when you hear the pump pulsating, that's when the steam starts usually. Give it a few more seconds, it'll get even stronger. There we go. I'll turn it off, position my jug at the correct angle, and try to spin the milk in a vortex. Turn it back on now. And the closer your wand tip, the closer it is to the surface of the milk, the more foam you'll be getting. So if I dunk the tip of the wand very deep into the milk jug, I won't be getting a lot of foam or froth on the milk. But if I keep it close to the surface, it'll aerate the milk more and it'll give me a thicker foam. You can even hear the sound change. So this is deep and this is close to the surface. The longer you stay close to the surface, the more foam you'll be getting and the more volumetric your milk will be. Whereas if you want a flat white, I wouldn't stay close to the surface for long if you want it to be flat. And I'll ensure that it's spinning in a vortex or like a tornado the whole time, because that'll help it mix evenly and help it warm evenly as well. And when it's too hot to the touch, for example, when you can't touch it for more than a second, I would stop the steam. That's usually about 60 to 65 degrees. And that's 60 degrees as my gauge says, as my thermometer says. It'll now go to cool down mode. So that machine is ready to make another espresso shot. I like to give the wand a quick purge. Just a quick purge, to clean the insides from any milk. You can do this before the machine even cools down. So once you stop steaming, you take the jug out, just give it a quick purge, and then turn it back off before you let it purge that water into the boiler to cool down. That's going to clean the wand. And then you want to clean the wand on the outside as well. Grab a wet cloth and give it a good scrub. That's what I'll do in a second. Alright, so here you go. Clean it as soon as you can, because if you wait, it'll be harder to clean the next day. The milk basically cooks on top of the wand. It's really hot, it's metal, it gets really really hot in there. So the milk will form a layer, a hard layer, if you don't clean it straight away. And the sooner you clean it, the easier it is to do. That's about it. That's a latte on the Breville Barista Express. Now I'm just going to pour the milk into the coffee. So I've got a very thick texture here. Maybe this is a cappuccino actually. I've given it so much foam. So you want to knock the jug on the counter to break any of the big air bubbles, and then swirl it around a few times to mix it up, and it looks nice and smooth. This is not my cup. This is my cup. Mix the espresso just to mix any sugars or crema that you have. The crema will have a different flavor to the coffee itself, so I recommend you mix that with a spoon. Mix the milk. Beautifully textured milk. I think this machine makes an excellent coffee. With some practice you can do very good latte art. I'll quickly show you what I made. That's the latte that I made. Looks amazing. Definitely looking forward to having it. There's just some coffee grounds on the tamper. Yeah, I think you can do the same, if not better, with a few days of practice. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video and hopefully it's been helpful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. I will see you soon. Cheers.